What It Takes Radio Company, helping connect you with your audience. Brings you another edition of the Interesting Ideas podcast, and today we're going to call it a wit talk. Yeah. And could working as a cashier at Costco be a problem for somebody? Just a thought. Let me tell you my story. Greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition, another episode, perhaps another adventure, perhaps a little bit of a mystery for interesting, intriguing, inspiring, maybe instigating some new ideas, interesting ideas. And today I resurrected an old dream, wit. Now, you all know, perhaps, that the name of my podcasting and publishing company is called What It Takes Radio. And there's a long story behind that. But also part of it is that I had an idea a number of years ago. This is one of the things that didn't work out yet. I had heard about a TED Talk and I had tried to give one. And I think I almost qualified for one once. And I said, well, TED, you know what TED means? Well, it was technology. And then it was entertainment, and then it was a design, a TED Talk, technology, entertainment, and design. Well, then, of course, it went into all kinds of other subjects, but I said, I want to do a wit talk. And wit stood for wisdom, insight, and truth, because that's what it takes if you want to make it in life today. A touch of, at least, wisdom, insight, and truth. So that's what I was about, trying to make a organization called WIT, and maybe someday I'll even get that done, but more than likely it'll have to be someone like you who's quite a bit younger who would say, Stan, I'll steal that idea, and together let's put together a whole new experience of entertainment and information and presentation, and we'll call it wit talks, or wit walkaways, or something like that. Maybe we should talk about that. Here I am with the golden microphone. Again, that's just a little bit of my shtick. So there we go. And today I am going to continue, because on April, we're going to be talking about how you can make it in the marketplace. And I have a title which may have caught your attention. Of course, that's what titles are supposed to do in broadcasting. And something like this. Was working as a cashier, was working at Costco a bad idea? Well, let me tell you a little bit of the story behind that, and then you can try and maybe figure out what we're going to try and do with that. Like every big retailer, many of us have, kind of our love-hates, Yeah, there's a lot of things I don't like about Amazon, but there's a lot of things I do like about Amazon. Go to Costco. There's a lot of things, particularly on a weekend, that going to Costco drives me crazy. But I do like the $1.50 pizza sometimes. And I find out that on certain things, they have the very best deals. Now, there's a whole lot of other stuff and a lot of crowds and confusion and things that go on. But I do admit that, my wife and I oftentimes have a little bit of a problem when we go, because I just want to go and get this stuff. And of course, she wants to walk around and watch. So we have a mutual Costco arrangement as to how we will work together when we're doing a Costco run. But as a broadcaster, I'm always in the business of trying to notice things. And it just kind of caught me the other day. We had a good experience. We went through, and the man who was the cashier and helped us out and made it through was probably in his late 50s, very friendly, dressed well, and really made it a great experience. And For that, I was grateful. But I couldn't help but think, there's a story there. Because obviously, a man with, that age and perhaps that ability and that talent and that social service skills, did he really want to be a cashier at Costco when he was in his late 50s? I don't think so. Probably didn't even know about it. But of course, life happens. And obviously, this is what he's doing now. And I don't know the story, but there's something about me that just said, and I now notice this quite often that there are people in stages of life, and there are people in work and business that is not very much fun or attractive, but you know, thank goodness they're doing the work that needs to be done. They're making a contribution. I have great admiration for people who just do work that needs to get done. And I always thank them. And I'm very grateful for them. And I know that I'm blessed because I get to do work that I really want to do, that I really love to do. And in some respects, kind of what I felt I was made for. Now, I've done a lot of work that I didn't want to do, but I'm not necessarily having to do it now. In fact, one of the better training jobs I had was one of my toughest because when a man recruited me to be working at a J.C. Penney company store many, many years ago, and I found out that he was one of the top managers in the J.C. Penney. He was very well respected. In fact, he had been trained by J.C. Penney himself. And he was the one who came up to me and said, Stanley Paul, um, when you're 16, I want you to come over to the store and I want to offer you a job. I mean, he'd seen me around church and the community, and and so and I was a nice young man. I behaved myself and was very good. Good, I was a good boy. Well, I found out that part of what those managers want to do is they want to make penny men. Now, in those days, you had to be a man to be a manager. In fact, my dear wife, a little bit later in life, was working at a Penny's organization, and she was so good that she was recruited to be one of the first in the group of women who could actually be in the management of a penny store. That's how old we are. Okay. Uh, but I found out that he put me in the shoe department. Okay, well, there's a lot of other departments. Well, he knew that in the shoe department, you just can't take money. You have to sell. You have to, service people. You have to ask them what they want. You have to measure their foot, and you have to then go out and back and find a pair of shoes that might work for them. Try to fit them on. Yeah, it was the hardest sales job in a penny store because a lot of people just came in, they bought their clothes, and they bought the goods they had there. But in shoes, people basically had to be fitted and sold and serviced. And I learned a great deal there. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity. But I wouldn't want to be selling shoes now. But I could. I can still do it. I'm still pretty good at it. But I just point these things out for us to think about because we're trying to find out in these challenging and changing times. First of all, be very, very good to people who do hard, busy, tough, necessary, not necessarily fulfilling or creative work, but they do good work in jobs that need to be done. And I often tell them how thankful I am and, blessings on you. I really appreciate you for doing that. Um, when the young man finished up putting my oil change together. I thanked him. And I said, I'm really too old and not very good at doing this. And I really appreciate that, you make it so I don't have to crawl under cars anymore and try and change my own oil. I'm very grateful. And being in the South, he said, well, thank you much, Mr. Stan. Good things. Good things. But I'm still reminded that in terms of the life we have to live, and as we seek to make our mark in the world, that I still wonder, did the man really want to be a cashier at Costco's at that stage in his life? Could there be something more that he could do that could use his abilities? Because he obviously has years in life left. I think some of my work in life would be is to help people find a kind of a closing career, an encore career there, where their wisdom and their insight and their truth could be used in special teaching and mentoring ways, even though they may not be in the job that they would like or what they had. I'm fundamentally a believer that everybody has something they can teach us, some wisdom, insight, and truth they can share with us. So, those are my thoughts for today. If you're one of those people somewhat in that situation, I might be able to help you with thinking about an encore career. We do a lot of work in that, teaching people how to, as one person said, I'm failing retirement, Stan. I can't stand not doing something. I hate retirement. What can I do? And I said, you need an encore. And he said, what's an encore? And I said, you've performed on the stage of life all your life, and you've had good roles and tough roles and hard roles. Right now, maybe it's time for you to come back on stage and do your best. Your closing show, your encore. And he said, I would like that. I would like that. I still have something to offer. I know I do. I still have some good things to do. So I'm helping develop a career and business development course. And part of it will be not just for the 17-year-olds and the 27-year-olds, but part of it's going to be for the 67 and the 77-year-olds, where we continue to find ways to make a contribution and hopefully maybe even get some compensation. If what I've said today has some ring for you or with you, why don't you reach out to me? Stan@witradio.net. Stan@witradio.net. I and my team and some of the other teams that I'm with, I bet we could help you and help your organization, help your church, your place of worship, your social group, help you find something that will truly allow you to show your wisdom, insight, and truth, your wit, to a world that badly needs good people who do good things and possibly accomplish great things. You could still do that. I believe that. It's just an idea from the top of my head and from the twilight of interesting ideas and the transformation zone. All the best to you. Blessings to you. I would love to hear from you. Please recommend me to others. Please subscribe and please keep in touch. Bye for now.